O Mother Nui, stretch high above this valley. Your starry body is our glory. Then see the hawk of yonder Rahur quit, his fiery splendor, oh so mighty. He brings a light for all our weary souls. He makes the broken spirit whole.
Picture a standard Venn diagram. Two circles overlapping. Usually you use it to sort sterile data, like people who like cats versus dogs.
Right, the classic school math class thing.
Exactly. But what if that exact overlapping shape in the middle wasn't data at all? What if it was like the exact mathematical blueprint for the birth of your consciousness?
Welcome to today's deep dive. We've got a fascinating stack of esoteric texts and architectural history notes in front of us.
Yeah, it's a really dense pile of sources today.
It is, and our mission today is to figure out how a simple geometric shape is supposedly the secret to the human soul. I've been looking at this stuff all morning, so okay, let's unpack this.
That's it.
In the Ecclesiolux tradition, they focus on the Vesica Piscis. It's that classic almond shape in the middle of the Venn diagram. But instead of showing where traits overlap, they claim this shape maps the literal birth of the human soul.
So to actually grasp what's happening in that center overlap, we have to define the two circles creating it. On one side, you have the red circle.
Right, the divine side. Yeah, exactly. This represents divine spirit, or lux. And on the other side, opposing it, is the blue circle. That represents matter, which means the physical body, density, and time itself.
Now, looking at the source material, they call that red circle, the divine spirit, an ignorant principle of life. Which sounds kind of insulting for something divine.
Does sound like a knock on the divine, yeah.
Right. Is it sort of like a fully charged battery, like it holds all this immense power, but it's ignorant because it doesn't actually do anything until it's plugged into a device?
I mean, take that battery analogy a step further. It's not just unmanifested power waiting to be used. Traditional mysticism often views the material world, that blue circle, as a mistake.
Like a worthless prism you need to escape to get back to the divine.
Exactly. But Ecclesiolux flips that entirely. Matter is the essential temple.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, think about your own life. The blue circle is your physical exhaustion at the end of the day, while the red circle is your underlying drive. The physical world provides the necessary friction for that divine spirit to actually spark into self-awareness.
And here's where it gets really interesting. When that spirit battery powers the material device, it creates a geometric spark in the center overlap.
That almond shape.
Right, the mandorla. And it's defined by an irrational mathematical ratio, the square root of 3 to 1. But why does that specific math matter so much here?
Well, the square root of 3 to 1 is the exact proportion of that shape's height to its width. It's mathematically perfect, but cannot be expressed as a simple fraction.
Okay, so it's infinite.
Yes. In this tradition, that represents the infinite nature of the soul trapped in finite geometry. This is the core of what the texts call the Luciferian secret.
Which sounds super intense.
It does. But we should clarify that Luciferian here is strictly etymological. It goes back to Latin, meaning light bringer.
Ah, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's describing the technical mechanism of taking that raw battery potential, lux, and turning it into lumen.
Which is manifested, conscious light.
Exactly. And this union sparks the creation of the inner Christ.
Wait, when they say inner Christ, are they talking about the historical figure? Because this sounds way more like a mathematical formula than, a religion to worship from afar.
It is entirely a psychogenesis, meaning it's the literal birth of the mind through friction. You aren't looking up at the sky waiting for salvation.
You're doing it yourself.
Right. You are actively growing that consciousness within the intersection of your own spirit and body.
So if this shape is the blueprint of the soul, how did people historically use it? It looks like the texts trace this knowledge back to Mary Magdalene as the physical sacred womb.
They do.
And they claim the Templars actually hid this exact square root of 3 proportion in the physical world.
They built it directly into the pointed arches of Gothic cathedrals. It was a way of encoding this spiritual technology in stone.
That is wild.
It is. But the tradition didn't just stay in medieval architecture. A modern figure in the Ecclesiolux tradition, known as a lay brother, teaches that you apply this geometry today through mundane work and prosperity.
Hold on. This lay brother is saying my stressful corporate job and paying bills is a spiritual instrument.
Essentially, yes.
That sounds like a convenient excuse to just accept corporate drudgery. I mean, how on earth is a spreadsheet sacred?
Because the mundane is the spiritual resistance. Traditional dogma places salvation in some distant heaven, right?
Right, somewhere out there.
But this secret places the sacred squarely in the center of your 9-to-5 existence. The stress of that spreadsheet, the friction with a coworker.
The daily grind.
Yeah, that is the resistance your battery needs. When you approach those challenges with consciousness instead of guilt and fear,
Yeah.
you stop clouding that blue circle of matter.
Because you, like the person listening to this right now, are what the tradition calls a manifested lumen.
Yes.
The friction of your daily life, your work, your pain, your love, that's the exact resistance your spirit needs to spark into consciousness.
It is the sacred embrace of those two circles.
And think about this. The Templars literally built the mathematical proportion of the soul into Gothic arches, so that when you walked inside, you were standing right inside a physical vesica piscis.
That classic Venn diagram overlap.
Exactly. It makes you wonder, if those ancient builders were shaping our consciousness with stone, what hidden geometric proportions are modern architects subconsciously using to shape our inner worlds today?